got you. No, I got you.
Hey, Aaron just blew me. Yo. Oh!
No.
Go give him a hug.
What's up, babushka?
Is that a friend?
No.
It's a blood kid.
Pretty Princess is invincible.
That was me playing the hit game Repo, a horror game that was just made recently where you collect parts and salvage it for money. Although, when playing this game, it reminded me of a certain other scrap collecting game where you sell and try to reach a quota and avoid monsters. Of course, you know what I mean. I mean Lethal Company. You know, this Lethal Company? I found Lethal Company very similar to Repo, or vice versa. I found Repo very similar to Lethal Company. From its super scary monsters to its key gameplay mechanics and items, Repo isn't actually that far off of Lethal Company. From the pictures I just showed you of Lethal Company's Nutcracker and Repo's Huntsman, it seems like many character designs and elements must have been stolen, right? If you thought that was true, then unfortunately, yes, you are partially correct. Everything about Repo just screams Lethal Company. So, is it a copy? Or is it just its own game? In this video, we'll find out. Alright, so it was just a pretty normal day. I was just texting on the group chat, and my friend, I heard, was talking about Repo. At the time, I wasn't too big of a fan of Repo, just because I knew it was copying my beloved Lethal Company. So then I'm just like, okay, you have Steam gift cards lying around, right? And he did, so here's what we were gonna do. He was going to buy Repo for me, and I was going to buy Lethal Company for him. Or he was going to buy Lethal Company for himself because I had no money at the moment. But anyway, we started playing Repo first, and I actually enjoyed the game. Even though it was very similar to Lethal Company and I was already kind of used to it, I still had a good time playing the game. One major downside from this game, though, was that it had breakable items. In Lethal Company, there isn't usually items that break when you drop it or hit it on a wall. So this was a bit of a twist for me. It overall just felt like chaos, and I love chaos. So this was a pretty good pick for me. You should really check out Repo too. Overall, I give this game a 7.5 out of 10. Now, you may be thinking, actually, wasn't this supposed to be about how Repo is like a total copy of Lethal Company? Well, yes, we will get to that, but I just want to say how I feel about both of the games first. Now, with Lethal Company, there may be a bit of bias, but I did start playing Lethal Company before Repo. And it also did come out before Repo, by the way. Which is pretty much the whole point of the video in the first place, because it can't be a copy without Lethal Company coming out first. Anyways, let's move on to pros and cons. So, unlike Repo and Lethal Company, you can actually, drive the ship and know where you want to go, whereas Repo just forces you to go to a specific location, and you don't even get to drive the truck in Repo. Not to mention that, besides controlling the ship, you can also just drive a car, and it helps collect scrap even better. A pro of Lethal Company is definitely that it has more items and mechanics than Repo. But that doesn't mean Repo is all bad. We just need to give it some time to update before we can confirm that Lethal Company has more. And a con is dude, what are these graphics? These are literally 2001 graphics, are we serious? Although I just think Lethal Company is just going for the style of that. Overall, I give Lethal Company an 8.8 out of 10, it just has more at this point, so that's how I can judge it. Now that we have talking about Repo and Lethal Company out of the way, let's just compare the two and see how they do with each other. Let's first compare just the overall gameplay, the movement, the features, the character design, all that stuff. For Lethal Company, I feel the movement is a bit easier than Repo, because for a new player starting out Repo, the movement can feel a bit janky and weird, like the turning and everything, but for Lethal Company, it's just smooth and clean, nothing else to worry about. Although when you get used to Repo's movement, it can become very satisfying, whereas Lethal Company is the same, just like straightforward turning and nothing else. Now for the character design. Let's start off with Lethal Company. Some pretty normal spacemen looking guys with orange jumpsuits and a helmet. So pretty basic character design. Although for Repo, we got the android mascot green Crayola crayon looking not technically a copy, but a familiar face. And now when we get to the mechanics, Repos are a bit confusing but easy to understand. In Lethal Company, you have 4 item slots where you can put items in, whereas Repo, you can only hold 1 at a time. Although in Repo, you do get like a shopping cart thing that can bundle up all your items for you, which is pretty helpful. Another thing I think Repo did better is its like killing screen. In Lethal Company, usually the company just fires you when you get shot out into space, whereas Repo, you actually get to fight your teammates and be the best loser. Now let's move on to some of the monsters in Lethal Company and Repo. As I showed before with the Nutcracker and Gunsman, some of the Repo enemies are literally just exact copies of Lethal Company enemies, but Repo's made some of their own too. In my playing of Repo, I noticed like a bunch of little tiny monsters following me around, when in Lethal Company there wasn't really that too often except for like the Man-Eater, so Repo's done better at getting the annoying small enemies that follow you around. Although I gotta give Lethal Company the win for better monsters just because Repo takes stuff like clowns or floating heads and turns it into a monster, which are already like common things for monsters, and Lethal Company comes up with its own design for newer monsters. I mean, yeah, Lethal Company has like the spider and the Nutcracker, but still, you get the idea. So, what is better, Repo or Lethal Company? Well, the answer is none of them are better because they're 2 equally great games. And Repo is its own game, it's not really a copy of Lethal Company. Sure, it may take some aspects from the game, but still, it's its own game. I would definitely recommend giving both a try because I had a lot of fun playing both of these games, and they only cost both $10. Like, my school charged $10 for a dance that you'll only have 2 hours of excitement. Meanwhile, I have like a billion hours on Lethal Company and Repo and still have even more fun. Oh, and by the way, don't get me started on, what's that game? Content Warning or whatever it's called. Yeah, that was just a third party at this point. Even though it came out before Repo, it's just a third party. I've never played it. I don't even know what's going on with that game, but it falls into the same category. Alright, that's all I came here to yap about. Hope you guys have a good day. Signing out. Peace.